People are responding to this attack in different ways. Keiley Routlege initiated a GoFundMe page in the wake of the shooting. She lives close to where the bullets were flying, and she joins us now to explain her motivation. So thank you again for joining us, Keiley.
How are you this afternoon?
Well, it certainly is a tragic day, we know, and we're hearing a lot of different experiences from people who were there. And we know you've lived in this neighborhood since, I believe, 1988. So what inspired you to initiate this GoFundMe page?
Well, I'm not only a resident who literally is 300 feet away from where the gunshots started, I'm also a business owner along this stretch of Danforth. And of course, we're closed today, as we all are, so the police can continue their investigation. But even though this area is a destination for people from out of the area to come and enjoy our lovely fountain in the Logan Parkette where he was shooting, to enjoy the restaurants and the ice cream parlors and the cafes, this is also a very tight-knit community as far as residents and business owners go. So we're all really, really shaken today. And hearing what happened last night from my house, we heard the gunshots, we heard the sirens. My daughter was at Logan and Danforth at the time. She called me and just said, "Mom, I'm okay." It took me a couple of seconds to correlate because she also lives in the neighborhood, but I didn't know. I mean, she's an adult, so I didn't know if she was home or not home. And I said, "Where are you?" And she said, "I'm at Logan and Danforth. I saw everything." It just inspired me as a business owner and a resident, knowing my neighbors, having been here for so long. We're so close-knit. The people who were injured, we don't know their names yet. The two young girls who have passed, unfortunately, 110, 118, they could be from out of the neighborhood or they could be local. We don't know their names yet. So as a neighborhood, we always come together. So I started a GoFundMe page called Danforth Strong. And we will be collecting donations. I've been in contact personally with our counselors, Paula Fletcher and Mary Fragadakis. We'll be collecting funds to help the victims and families of this terrible tragedy. We already know there are 2 funerals to pay for that were completely unexpected. When you take your 10-year-old out for an ice cream on a balmy summer night, you don't expect to be paying for a funeral shortly after. So we're all just devastated, and I'm hoping the community will come together and help. There's also a vigil this evening at the Cavalry Church, which is on Pape Avenue, just across from the subway station, starting at 7 p.m., because obviously we are not allowed to walk the Danforth currently at this point because it is an ongoing investigation. And so with the GoFundMe of Danforth Strong, which we are, I'm just hoping that people will come together and help out so we can help these poor people, anybody who is affected. I mean, even people who are mildly injured may need to be off work for a while. They may need wages covered, and that's what we are as a community. We love our neighborhood. We love our people. We love our families. We love our businesses. We love our guests that come in and enjoy it with us. So, I'm sorry it's pretty emotional, but I'm hoping people can help.
We certainly understand it's emotional, and we've spoken to some other people from the community also who have talked about how the community is coming together during this time of tragedy. And I just wanted to ask you one other question as well. When it came to your personal story and you were reiterating how you received this call from your daughter, what went through your mind when you're saying that you're often in this area, your daughter was right there, and it took you a second to just connect the dots of what was happening and what she was telling you? So now when you think back on that, what goes through your mind?
Well, my husband and I were sitting at home. Literally, we're 300 feet away from Logan and Danforth. We heard what we thought were fireworks. It happens occasionally, especially on weekends. People set off bottle rockets. But then they were too rapid. And then my husband muted the television, and we heard more. And he looked at me and he said, "That's not fireworks." And minutes later, seconds later, we heard sirens. And then my phone rang, and it was my daughter. And all she said was, "Mom, I'm okay." And I thought, it literally took me a few seconds to correlate, oh my God, she's on the Danforth. She was right at Logan and Danforth. She saw everything. She was in one of our local restaurants at the time. They locked the doors. Somebody threw her under a table because he was shooting at that restaurant at the time. Luckily, no bullets hit the windows or went through that particular location. but she said there was a gentleman who knocked on the door very, very loudly, and he had an infant in his arms. So they ran and opened the door and let him in, and he was just shaking so hard he couldn't even control himself. And so, yes, it's extremely personal.
Well, Keiley, thank you so much for sharing what your experience was, and of course for starting that GoFundMe page for the people who have been impacted by the shooting. That is Keiley Routlege in Toronto.